Hi everybody. Yesterday I wrote a little article called The Curious Case of Alexander Downer and George Papadopoulos. And it's been worrying me all day. Is that I think I've missed something with Alexander Downer. Alexander Downer, as you can see in this photo here, is quite adept at letting people think he's a fool, at letting people laugh at him and being dismissed as a lightweight. And I say in the article that Alexander Downer, let's be honest, Mr. Downer is a lightweight, and that's being charitable. Well, maybe he isn't. First off, we'll have a look at this article. This article that really got me thinking about Alexander Downer and what his role in all of this is. And it says here that a romantic encounter set off Australia's role in triggering Donald Trump investigation. Now this is the paragraph here. Fairfax Media can reveal a woman in London with whom Papadopoulos became involved happened to know Alexander Downer and told the Australian High Commissioner about Papadopoulos, newly signed staffer for Donald Trump. Downer, being a canny diplomat, followed it up and arranged a meeting with the young American who was mostly living in London at the time. So he's a Donald Trump staffer and he's mostly living in London at the time, okay? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And he just happened to meet this bird who just happens to know Alexander Downer. So it just doesn't ring right. This guy's a nobody, and all of a sudden he's rubbing shoulders with Alexander Downer. Let's have a close look at who Mr. Downer is. This is the Downer family. The Downer family played a significant role in South Australian and Australian political and social sphere since the early days of European settlement. Okay, now Alexander Downer's father, we'll start with him because he's an intriguing bloke himself. It was Alec Downer. He was the Minister for Immigration between 1958 and 1963, and subsequently the High Commissioner in London between 1964 and 1972. Which is basically a mirror of the sort of career that his son has had. Now, Alec Downer was educated at Geelong Grammar. He was the godfather of Charles Spencer, brother of Diana, Princess of Wales. Now, this guy's connected, very connected. Graduated from Oxford. Was admitted to the bar at the Inner Temple. Don't know what that is. It doesn't sounds a bit weird, but it's obviously some sort of legal firm. The name just gives me a little bit of goosebumps. And then he had a diplomatic career. Interestingly, he was made a freeman of the City of London in 1965. 1965. He'd only been there as a he'd only been commissioner for a year, and all of a sudden he's freeman of the City of London. And before that, he was just a minister for immigration. The granting of the honorary freedom of the City of London is extremely rare and only generally awarded to royalty, heads of state, or to figures of genuine global standing. It is the highest honour which is the power of the City of London to bestow on someone. This is a really big deal for a guy that was essentially just another bloody diplomat. So who are these people? Anyway, so we look at Alexander Downer. He had a political career as well. He was out of his depth as a politician. I will hold to that fact. But he became Minister for Foreign Affairs. He had many failings, which I detail in the article in his Ministry for Foreign Affairs. And eventually, in his post-parliamentary career, things get really interesting. The first thing that struck me as quite strange was that he formed a lobbying company called Bespoke Approach, and he formed that with basically his political rivals or people from other political parties. Now, Bespoke Approach, interestingly, gets its where was this? What is it? Bespoke Approach has lobbied on behalf of major corporations, and they're all big names: Woodside Energy, PetroChina, Huawei Technologies, Xstrata, and Foster's. The company is allied with, surprise, surprise, the Albright Stonebridge Group in the USA, which provides them with additional contacts overseas. The Albright Stonebridge Group advises multinationals, financial institutions, industry associations, and non-profit organisations. Its notable executives include Madeleine Albright, Carlos Gutierrez, Amy Silico, etc. So here we've got Alexander Downer with strong connections to Madeleine Albright. We already know, as my original article here points out, and there are links contained in the article that demonstrate that Mr. Downer had a very cosy arrangement with the Clinton Foundation, let's put it that way. So he's connected to the Albrights and he's connected to the Clintons. He's also, go back to Alexander Downer, he's on the board of, he's on the advisory board of the British Strategic Intelligence. I don't know what that is, but it's Strategic Intelligence, and the advisory firm for Hayklett and Company. All of a sudden you start to look at Alexander Downer and you look at him and what he's done and who he is, and you start to think, this guy is working for intelligence. For which intelligence, who knows? But his father worked, what do they call it then? What do they call it? His father worked, tried from Parliament upon his appointment as Australian High Commissioner. He said the building of the High Commission Australia House has a Downer room on the first floor, and he was knighted in 1965. It feels like there's more to Alexander Downer than first meets the eye. Much more. Much more to him and much more to his father. So, okay, so if we have a look at Hayklett and Company, who's on the board there? Bill Bradley, Managing Director at Allen and Company. 3-term US Senator, Bill Bradley. Bill Bradley ran for president in 2000. He's a Democrat. Here you've got this bloke who is almost certainly working for some sort of intelligence operation, whether that's ASIO, MI6, or the Americans, or somebody else. But when you look at his history and his family past and all the rest of it, it's almost certain that he works for intelligence somewhere. Got a train going past, hang on. So it just feels like he works for some sort of intelligence. He just happens to meet George on the off chance. And then he just passes the information along. Information that is going to help his good friends, the Clintons. Information that is going to certainly probably please his good friend or his business partner, Madeleine Albright. Not right. His business associate, Madeleine Albright. Probably please his associate, Bill Bradley. There's nothing you can say is wrong with anything that Mr. Downer's done. It just looks very convenient that all of this fell into the hands of Alexander Downer. Very convenient. Anyway, let me know what you think. I mean, I can't get any further than that, really. I'll put some links below for you to explore yourself and do your own research. But I'm starting to think that Mr. Downer is certainly an asset for somebody. And he's certainly, on this occasion, it would seem that he may well be working in some sort of capacity for people associated with the Clintons. That's just a feeling. There's nothing I can put my hand on and say, yep, that's it. But there's certainly something there. There's enough circumstantial sort of evidence to say, who is Alexander Downer and who is he working for? Now, again, I'll be honest and say in my original article on him, I dismissed him as an idiot. I think that public persona is by design. I've been thinking about it all day. I think it must be by design. I think he likes people to think he's an idiot. I don't think he is. I think he's a very smart man. Very smart man. He's very well connected and has made a lot of money. Anyway, let me know what you think, and we'll see if we get another video out soon.